Okay. Show you ready. At this time, we'll call the June 16th, 2025 meeting of the East Hempfield Township Zoning Hearing Board to order. Members of the board who are present this evening, Mr. Bingham, and on Zoom, we have Mr. Herr and Mr. Kyle. And I am also here, I'm Mark Hanson, the vice chairman to the board. Also, for the record, we have Ms. Graham, our zoning officer to the township, and our legal counsel, attorney Jason Hess, as well. We also have a court reporter with us. Scheduled this evening is one new case and any old business that may come before us this evening. This board will hear each case in an informal matter without strict compliance with the rules and procedures used in a court trial. We ask each applicant and any individual interested in a case to step in front of our table and explain the circumstances involved in their application. Applicants may present their case themselves through their attorneys or any other representatives. My fellow board members and I, as well as our solicitor, may ask the applicant questions from time to time during the applicant's presentation or at its conclusion. All persons having interest in the application will be given the opportunity to ask questions of the applicant, offer evidence of their own, and inform the board of their position on the matter. In the interest of prompt and orderly disposition of each case, however, we ask that interested people refrain from speaking until the applicant's presentation has been completed and the board has had an opportunity to question the applicant. At the beginning of each case, people who are interested in the case should decide whether they desire to be a party. By giving the status of a party, that person will be entitled to receive notice of the decision in the case and be entitled to participate in any subsequent appeal or rehearing. Individuals who are not given party status may nevertheless ask questions or present evidence, but will not receive notice of the decision or will not automatically be entitled to participate in any appeal or subsequent rehearing. If you desire to be a party, we ask that you sign an entry of appearance form at the appropriate time. Although each party will receive a written copy of the decision, the mechanics of typing and signing the decision will take approximately 4 weeks. We ask that each person who asks a question or makes a statement first state his or her name and address for our court reporter. Lastly, in the interest of time, I will administer the oath or affirmation to all applicants and to everyone and anyone who anticipates making any statement with respect to any of the hearings this evening. At this time, will you please rise? Under penalties of perjury, you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If so, please say, I do. Please remain standing. We'll salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Again, just to remind everybody, this meeting is on Zoom, and at this point, I don't believe we have anybody except more board members and the planning officer on the Zoom. Yeah. Beth, have the cases this evening been posted and advertised in accordance with the sunshine law and the ordinance?
They have been.
Gentlemen, you have received a copy of the May 19th, 2025 board minutes as presented by our secretaries. If there are no delineations or additions or corrections, I ask for a motion to approve the board minutes as submitted.
In favor.
Mr. Bingham has made a motion. Do I hear a second, Mr. Kyle?
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion is second to approve the minutes as proposed. Mr. Bingham?
In favor.
Mr. Kyle?
In favor.
Mr. Herr? I'll just take a thumbs up, Mr. Herr. Thank you. And I will also vote in favor. Board minutes are approved 4-0. Beth, any old business?
No.
Beth, will you call the first case, please?
Case number 2491, Anthony and Gina Bonafide, 814 Cooper's Court, seeking a variance to the maximum lot coverage requirements.
Is Anthony or Gina Bonafide here or their representative? Would you take the podium there, please? And are you Mr. Bonafide?
I am.
Okay. Please state your name and address for the court reporter.
My name is Anthony Bonafide. Live at 814 Cooper's Court, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, 17601.
Is that being picked up, Beth? Greg and Elam, can you hear him?
I can, yeah. It's not real strong, but I can hear him.
Make sure you speak into the mic. You can take that out, actually hold that if it works better.
You can just
Just
pull
pull
it
it
out.
straight out.
Pull it out. Okay.
Yeah.
How about now?
That's better.
That's much better, yeah.
Okay, go ahead and present your case.
Okay, so my wife Gina and I are here today as residents of East Hempfield Township. Me personally, I grew up in this township, went through the schooling here, lived in this township for a long, long time. My wife and I got married, had our kids. We now live in the home we've lived in since 2013. And what we're looking for is a variance to the maximum coverage. And we're seeking to put a pool in.
Okay, before you go any farther, I
Yes, sir.
forgot this. Is there anybody who wants to be a party to the case? A party to the case? To be a party to the case, means you get a written decision, all that. See our attorney there, he has a form for you to fill out quickly.
So, the name is Claire Landis, and you're at, 805 Stonebridger Drive. Stonebridge. And in reference to the applicant's property, where's yours? You adjoin the property to the west? Okay. So I'll just explain to you, sir, that that normally other people who have an interest in the proceedings that is above beyond the interest of the public as a whole do ordinarily have standing to be a party to a case, and somebody whose property is directly adjacent is always given standing to be a party. So you have the right to object to party status if you want, but will tell you that the board will routinely allow an adjoining property owner to be a party. With that being said, do you have an objection to her being a party?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
No, we're good.
And the board should vote then to accept her as a party.
Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Kyle? Okay. Mr. Bingham,
In favor?
Mr. Kyle,
In favor.
Mr. Herr, and myself, the board is making you a party to the case. I'm sorry, Mr. Bonifati, go ahead.
So as I mentioned, my wife Gina and I are looking to seek a variance to the maximum coverage ordinance, and we're looking to put a pool into the backyard. And we're just finding a few hardships that we'd like to bring to the board for consideration.
Hi, I'm Gina Bonifati. Thanks again for working with us tonight here. So we are seeking this, first and foremost, our driveway, the way our home sits has, caused some of this hardship for us. And we have a very, very long driveway that leads up to 2,000 square feet that leads up to our home. And, this is something that we've always dreamed of putting in. We have 3 children, ages 14, 12, and 10. And we never wanted to do this when we first moved into the property, just because when they were younger, we weren't as comfortable. But this is definitely always something we planned. We feel like we've been very good residents of the community, and we're just excited by this possibility, appreciate the consideration. Another piece that, we've been talking about with this is my mother was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease about 2 years ago. She is cared for by my father, but she does spend a lot of time with us at our residence. And I, actually stepped back from my role at Warfel Construction in the marketing department recently to more of a part-time role, just to be able to have some of that flexibility to help care with the disease, a pool, and being able to, spend time. She takes daily exercise classes would be, another reason that we are, working to put this in to assist her with her therapy. So yeah, the first hardship I mentioned, the driveway, feels like it's, really creating some issues with us and obviously that was not something we had control over. It was previous owners who built the home and, the way it was set, but that feels like it's a lot of our surface and causing us some hardship here. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
No, just kind of surmise here. We're looking just to continue to adapt to the home that we're looking to stay at for some time here with our kids and just provide for them. We've, over the years, been constantly trying to just upkeep the house, which is now going on about 30 years. We've replaced the roof, upkept the driveway, so we're trying to keep it in good standing. We're in the process of windows. Currently just renovated the kitchen and everything to adapt for our family size and some of our immediate family size. So this is a place that we'd like to stay for some time and also see ourselves as residents to be continued here in East Hempfield.
Anything else? Gentlemen, any questions? Mr. Kyle?
Maybe helpful if they just go over what they're proposing, if they're able to do that, if that.
Yeah. The issue is, you're proposing to go to a lot coverage of 43.76%, is that correct? And I'm not sure. For us to grant you a variance, we have to say we're giving you a 3%, 5%, et cetera. And as of right now, I know you're already over allowable lot coverage. You're in the high 38%, so I don't know exact numbers. So what I would need you to do is tell me how much of percentage of lot coverage you're asking for, percentage-wise, over the allowable. The allowable is 35%.
We're asking for 8%.
Eight percent, anyone didn't hear that on the phone?
So actually, again, I can't tell you this, but my math says it's 8.76%. Just to be exact.
Yes, sorry, correction, that would be 8.76% that we're asking for. Apologies.
Thank you. And that includes the shed and everything you're proposing to put on.
There's, shouldn't be a shed included.
No,
Pad,
that's existing. I saw a shed on a diagram, I think.
are you,
There's no shed.
There's no shed. Okay.
what about the filter pad pad, traditionally that's concrete.
Yeah, we generally do count the filter pad.
That's not included in that 600 square feet, is it? Not very big.
They're usually around 12 feet, 12 square feet, 4 by 4.
Yeah, that was included in the drawings provided, I believe, on the side of the house by the furnace next to the deck.
Well, it's shown on the drawing, but what it doesn't tell me is, the drawing says that the proposed concrete patio is 600 square feet, but it doesn't tell me how many square feet the patio or the filter bed is.
Yeah, apologies on that. I don't see if we have that handy. I don't know that we do.
No, it's just shown at 5 feet off the property line.
I will say also with the pool that we're proposing, it is as basic as they come relative to size, and the patio area associated with it is just the 3 foot, that comes through and with the pool company. So it's not, we're not trying to do anything crazy. We tried to do it in a real minimalistic way. And the assumption on that would be 1 square yard on the filter pad. Again, apologies for that.
I would suggest, and again, I can't tell you to do this, but my suggestion is so that we cover all the bases, that you ask for a 9% variance so that you cover all the bases.
That makes perfect sense. Yep. So we would be formally asking for a 9% overage variant. Sorry.
Part of the, talking with the township, part of the issue here that you're over a lot coverage to begin with is because the patio was never permitted. Is that correct?
We did become aware of that, but at the time we used a contractor, and you want to speak to that?
Sure. So yeah, that was brought to our attention as we filled out the permit here. In most of the cases around the house with the stuff we've done, most recently the kitchen renovation, the contractor has submitted the permit and provided that, posted it, and everything else. So apologies for that. We were not under the assumption that a permit was not pulled for that.
Okay. Myself and Chairman Herr both feel that the shape of the property, the size of the property are not shouldn't be taken into account as a hardship because I'm sure you didn't buy the property site on the scene. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you bought the property knowing that it was at 35% lot coverage, knowing that there isn't a big area to put pool in. So taking that hardship out, what is the hardship at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that for sure. I will say, we bought the home in 2013. We had, a very young, a fresh newborn, I believe, and a 2-year-old. It was brand new to me. I had never purchased a home before. My husband did have a townhouse. I definitely, while agree we bought the home at the 35%, we were two, kids essentially buying the property, looking forward to starting our family, thinking, yes, a pool could be something down the road that we would want to do, but we definitely did not look into anything of that nature, or know it could really be something in the future that, we would be kept from doing because of the property we purchased. Again, that's on us as buying the property, but it was definitely not something that we considered necessarily back in 2013 when we bought the home. We, like my husband said, we've been keeping up with the home, wanting to make it our forever home, and remain in the township. Our neighborhood is fantastic. Our neighbors, we love it there. And this is really gonna, make us really start thinking about, what if we do need to move from the property to achieve some of this, for sure. So again, I just ask that you consider we have been productive members of the township. We have invested in our home. We continue to do so. As different opportunities have presented themselves, we've remained at this home and would love to on a long-term basis.
Okay. One final question I have. Section 270-5.2.HHH does require fencing around all pools in the zoning ordinance. Now, I noticed something about you didn't want to put a fence in, you want to put an auto cover in.
So we definitely want to put the auto cover in. That was a safety thing from the start. But we also would plan to add a fence.
Because, again, the zoning ordinance requires it, and that would be handled under, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Nate, that would be handled under the subdivision planning part of it.
Correct. And we actually already, as we started this process, had the entity out from the pool company to measure for a fence, to provide initial pricing on a fence. So that was definitely always part of the plan.
This is Nate Sturgis. I was unaware of the ordinance saying that, but if it does, Beth would catch it during the review of the permit, and it'd be required.
Yeah, did you catch the section?
Under the specific use regulations.
Yeah, 270-5.2 HHH. And I should add capital HHH.
Okay.
And a follow-up to that question, if you have to have, since you do have to have a fence there, is putting up a fence going to add any to the impervious coverage at all? Or will you be able to put the fence up within the?
No, per our HOA, it has to be a see-through fence, mostly just a clear with black, just wrought iron fence or something of the sort.
Yeah, so it's not going to change the impervious
Have
coverage.
a large fence or anything like that.
Are you gonna use cement to hold the posts in place, or you still have? You have to
And this is Nate again. We have not counted fences in the past towards impervious coverage or impervious coverages.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just wondering if they had to extend the impervious coverage just to mount the fence, but
We would not consider that for this.
Okay.
Yes.
You have a question? I heard you at the beginning, Elam, but you cut out.
Nate might be able to tell us what he's saying.
I think he's talking to
Yeah.
Nate.
Looked like he was talking on his phone.
To Nate.
Just in reference to the fence question, from the start, we believed the fence was required.
Okay.
Based on just talking to different people and things. It was actually brought to our attention by the gentleman that we're working with the pool company. And he had said that one, to his knowledge, had just been approved off of Nisley Road without a fence. Just when we had, made it known that we wanted the auto cover, we have some young kids catty corner to us, and just peace of mind for us. The auto cover was not even in question, but we always thought the fence was also required. It just came up from the pool company that there was one locally, and that's why it was brought to our attention, but we had never proposed no fence.
It is actually required, so, and again, that'll be dealt with the planning.
I just unmuted.
Before I could approve this, I want documentation, either from the pool company or some other expert in this, that, it really is a safety feature. In my past life, I worked on too much legislation dealing with open pools, and I don't want to see something happen to the applicant's children, neighbors' children, friends coming in, whatever. And I do not want our decision to put a potential liability on the township. And I know there's the Tort Liability Act, Municipal Tort Liability Act and everything, but I want everybody to know up front that there's a reason for fences around pools. And if we're going to give a variance, give a benefit to the applicant, I also want the township to be protected from potential, and maybe not with the applicant, but if the applicants do decide to move down the road, whoever else buys this property knows the circumstances.
Okay, you did hear the conversation that that the zoning ordinance does require a fence. And they would have to put that up, and
I think we're on the same page.
they're on the same
We
page.
want
with
all the safety.
putting-
Safety is a huge thing, having 3 children.
They would put the fence up along with the auto cover, so they would have both.
The auto cover will be,
If that's agreeable to the applicant, then it's agreeable to me. In this case, belts and suspenders are probably better.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, just to reiterate, our intention here is for extra coverage to limit the liability. So we would have double protection in the form of the pool
Good.
cover. It would provide extra protection, and then you would also, almost like a winter cover. And that thing is available to be, we can provide documentation where it has a weight limit that you can walk on or anything else that would support the safety. And that's what we're interested in.
With that, I can go along with the request with those conditions. I just want to apologize to the board and the applicant for not being able to be there tonight due to health reasons. And but I'm glad we can work this out. That's agreeable to the applicant and the board. Thank you.
Mr. Collin, any more questions?
No, I'm good, Mr. Hanson. Thanks.
Mr. Bingham, any
I guess one other comment, if we're going to approve this, that we would require the applicant not to do anything else that would create more impervious on their property, I guess, if
Okay.
in the motion. But
Jason, any questions, more additional questions?
Not for the time being.
Go ahead.
I would allow, I think we should allow Ms. Landis to ask questions, but
He's here, so we need to.
I'll get to you here in a second. Beth, do you have any questions?
You don't.
Anybody in the audience have any questions?
Mark had one more, or excuse me, Elam had one more thing.
Yeah, Elam.
Just when you're ready, I'm looking for my paperwork. I'll tell you what, this is getting ridiculous, but I'd be ready to make a motion in this case.
All right, we have a party to the case that wants to make a statement here or some questions.
Okay,
Go
fine.
ahead.
I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you. Do we have another microphone?
Right here.
Oh. Yeah, I'm giving you a chance right now. Can I have your name and address, please?
My name is Claire Landis. My address is 805 Stonebridge Drive and Lancaster 17601. I live, if you look at the map, I live on the west side at the angle. The property comes off Cooper's Court. It comes to a point and then it angles. My property adjacents it on the angle towards the back.
So if I came up Cooper's Court from the lower end of Stonebridge,
Mhm.
up Cooper's Court and made a left, you're the first property there on the
I'm
corner.
in the next one.
Okay.
I'm between the two corner properties.
Okay,
It's
Okay,
up there, Elam.
yeah.
the one down on the left-hand.
Yeah, down on the left, yes, yes. That's theirs.
that one.
Mine is right there,
Right to the-
yes.
Oh, that's the,
Right, that's.
Going the wrong way?
Go to the left, yeah.
Up
to the
and
left a little bit
okay.
more.
That's right.
Right there.
Yeah, there it is. That's my
Okay.
house. We've lived there. We built the house in 1994. We're the original owners. People north on the corner are the original owners as well. I do have concerns about it, mostly because the variance is, it says here in your rules, the failure to grant the variance would result in exceptional hardship. And I did read the coverage. I was kind of confused on what the exceptional hardship was. I do have concern about the drainage. The people behind that back up to their property is the Shides. They're about 75 years old. I talked to them and asked them. They didn't quite understand what was going on. The Cooper's Court 814 sits much higher than the one on, it's on Hearthside, the Shides. And my concern is the runoff water because there is no swale between the back properties. It goes over the allotment of the impervious. It is a concern. I do worry about runoff. I do volunteer work. I'm the president of Donegal Trout Unlimited, and we are president of Donegal Trout Unlimited. And I do worry about, stormwater. It's one of our concerns. So I just question the variance. If by the rule says it's a hardship, I question it.
so let me address the water issue. The zoning board has nothing to do with that, but however, that does get covered under subdivision and land development phase of this. The township would make sure that the water issue is taken care of.
Mark, excuse me, and also the stormwater.
And the stormwater, sorry. Well, that's what I was talking about.
Right, because currently the Shides have a swale already in their backyard.
Okay.
So there isn't, would come down and then they have the swale in the middle of their backyard.
Okay. A lot of times when these developments, and I hate to use the word older because it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but yes, it was. when developments like these were put in, there was usually one swale put between the houses, and sometimes they split it between the properties. Sometimes, one property got the swale as opposed to splitting it like you see here.
Mhm. Well, the way the builder built it, between us and the one on the corner, our spouts come to the edge, and then it runs between, there's right at the trees where everything meets, it runs straight down to her side. Like you can run, like you said, between the properties. But with that property there's no slight. It graduates towards the Shides property, not towards the downspouts or the swales between properties. Like I said, there is a swale between those three properties, but not the one below.
Okay.
And we have a swale between us and the people on the other corner.
Anything else?
No,
Mr. and Mrs. Bonifati, do you have anything else to add?
So just in reference to that, I mean, our thoughts here and what we're trying to do is not to put anybody out. So I think we're willing to make any reasonable, accommodations for whatever the township, the board here sees that needs to be done. We speak with the Shides fairly often. They had not expressed any of this, but I could see it being a concern. And
Yeah, and I had touched base with the Shides. I did speak to Mrs. Scheid. This was probably about 30-something days ago. Let her know we were working to put a pool in, et cetera. Again, I'm sure you also may have spoken to them, and like my husband said, we are not looking. The Scheids have worked at our church, Mrs. Scheid, for multiple years. We have a great relationship with them and have zero interest in creating any type of hardship or struggle for them or any of our neighbors to that regard.
Did neighbors on either side of you, the one on the corner and I think that's 818?
Is 818 the?
818 just got purchased about.
Yeah, new owners did literally, I think they just actually moved in, but we did take an opportunity, introduce ourselves, let them know what we were in the middle of with the pool. Of course, I mean, they just moved in and just met us, so settled on the 6th. And then the Condravies, who are on the corner in between us and Mrs. Landis right there. We've talked, I would say, casually about the, potential of a pool on our property, but not really any further than that. As given where they are, I don't believe it would be impacted. I mean, we have a great relationship with them. They happen to really enjoy or tell us that they enjoy our children and the noise and feel like it brings great youth to the neighborhood. And they've said multiple times they feel like it keeps them young. I would be surprised if there was any issue from them, but that's where the conversation has been so far with them.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Nate, do you have any questions?
Please, you asked a question earlier about the amount of variance that they need over the 25%. I don't know if they have that with them tonight, but definitely I want that part of the record.
They have asked for 9% over the allowable 35.
Okay, that's what it was, 9%?
Yep.
Okay. And then the second thing, when we get into this, I will address the other issue in the conditions.
All right. Anybody on the board have any additional questions?
I don't.
All right, seeing none. Jason, you said you had you have anything additional?
I don't think so. Since you're both parties, you also have the right to ask questions of each other. I know you made a statement, but if you have any questions of them, you have the right to do that. If you,
Thursday. And he was 75. He was a little, he didn't understand what was going on. He wasn't aware of what was going on. He walks through the like that. I didn't know. He knew what was going on. So that's why I'm bringing something that they didn't.
Okay.
and I mean, I'm assuming that they, I know that they're old, but they did get the notice that's required. Well, I mean, they got this. Okay. I understand.
Those of us on Zoom cannot hear her.
She was just concerned with the Scheid's age and that Mr. Scheid was a little confused and didn't know really what was happening to the property.
Understood.
All right. If there's nothing else, and there's nothing to take administrative notice of, we'll close testimony in case number 2491. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mark, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In case number 2491, I don't have the property.
814 Cooper's Court.
Okay, I'll go with that. Thanks. I would make a motion that we grant a variance of 9% to the allowable lot coverage in section 370-3 5E 5C to allow for the installation of an in-ground pool on said property with the following conditions. One, our standard conditions that we apply to all cases. Two, that the applicant provide to the township documentation pertaining to the automatic pool cover. And three, which was agreed to by the applicant, that not only would they have the automatic pool cover, but they would also abide by other ordinances and regulations pertaining to pools on residential property. I guess the three is that the applicant will comply with all federal, state, and local regulations and ordinances that would pertain to this property and this application.
one other condition Mr. Kyle was asking for is that the property at this point can never exceed more than 44% lot coverage.
My next one. And then the next one is that the applicant work with the neighbors about any stormwater runoff because of but I understand that should be taken care of under the subdivision and stormwater plans.
Anything else?
A motion.
All right, so we have a motion in case 2499 or 2491, the request of Anthony and Gina Bonafide for property located at 814 Cooper's Court, Lancaster, PA 17601, to grant them a variance to section 270-3.5E 5C, dealing with lot coverage, to grant them a 9% variance, making the total lot coverage of 44% with the following conditions. Number one, our standard conditions. Number two, provide documentation to the township on the automatic pool cover. Number three, that a fence will be put in following the zoning regulations and the saldo. Number four, the lot can now never exceed more than 44% lot coverage. And five, the stormwater will be handled in the subdivision land development planning part of the thing, but they have to work with the township and agree to whatever the township tells them. Is that your motion?
Good, very good.
Do I have a second? Motion by Mr. Hurst, seconded by Mr. Bingham. All right, let's take a vote. Mr. Bingham,
In favor.
Mr. Kyle,
In favor.
Mr. Hur,
In favor.
and I am opposed to this variance. And I'll get into details here why. So, however, your request does proceed, it's voted on 3-1, so you are granted a variance to put a pool in. My issue here is I don't really see a hardship. The property can't be used, in my opinion, cannot be used as a hardship. So I really don't see what the hardship is. But that's why I'm opposed to this. So you are granted your variance. Thank you. And they will, township will contact you and let you know what the next steps are going to be.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you, members of the board.
Yeah, thank you all. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Beth, we have a meeting next month?
Not at this point, but we still have 2 weeks.
Okay. 2 weeks. Wow.
Yeah.
Just in case,
Thanks.
next meeting would be July 21st. Are you available? Everybody available on the 21st?
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
Works for me.
so,
Mark, I hope to be, but since the brain issue has taken a dive south, I don't know. I'm going to do everything I can, because I'll tell you what, this technology crap isn't working out.
technology is great when it works.
You got that right. And since my brain ain't working right, between the two of them, I'm in bad shape.
All right, at this time, I will adjourn the June meeting of the zoning board. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And
Thank
thank
you,
the
everyone.
board and staff, Joe and everyone else. Sorry I couldn't be there.
Thank you, Elam.
Yeah, and thanks, Dave, for trying to get me into this thing.
Yeah, we made it work in a roundabout way.
Quick question for Jason and Beth. Do you need me to stop in and sign decisions tomorrow? Do you have enough signatures with just Mark and
We only have two, so a third would probably be helpful if you're able to.
I should be able to do that tomorrow morning, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
I was just gonna. That's what she said.